Hey, Al Bunbury here, remembering my time at Rochester. Joe Altobelli, I just wanted to thank him for several things. One was he called me up from Double A to play while Richie Coggins was hurt on the 14-day disabled list. Secondly, after he came back, I assumed Joe felt I could be productive to the club, and he kept me there and sent another outfielder back to Double A. And finally, he gave me the opportunity to meet and get an autograph from one of my idols growing up as a kid, the Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle. I think he came to Rochester to participate in a home run derby, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he beat Joseph in that derby. But anyway, thanks a lot, Joseph.
Hi, I'm Joe Castellano. I was the Rochester Red Wings radio play-by-play voice from 1997 to 2002. And 97 was a great year. The Red Wings won the Governor's Cup, and it's one of my greatest thrills being able to call that in my broadcasting career. But my most cherished memories occurred in the 5 seasons following that, when I had the privilege to work with Joe Altobelli. Every home game, he was sitting next to me, and I was able to learn so much about the game of baseball. He had such a passion for teaching it, and he taught me everything from how to run a bullpen to why certain players were positioned a certain way on the field to all kinds of managing strategy in baseball, strategy in general. I really am going to miss Joe. I'm very sad about his passing. He was so popular not only in Rochester, but all around baseball, of course, in Baltimore for winning the World Series in 1983, and out here in San Francisco as well when he started his managing career in the major leagues. In 1978, he had the Giants in first place. I was in high school, and I was going to a lot of Giants games that year, and that was really the first time I'd heard about Joe Altobelli, and I was able to relive all of that a lot in the broadcast booth. He was such a wonderful storyteller and a kind man to everybody that he ever came across. I'm going to miss Joe. I know you are too. Rest in peace, Joe Altobelli.
Hello, Rochester fans. I'd just like to take a moment here to say goodbye to a really special man in my life, and someone who did a lot for me and meant a lot to me, Mr. Joe Altobelli. I came into the Oriole organization, and I had 3 managers in the minor leagues, and I started out with Cal Ripken Sr., and that was rugged, especially when he threw me up against the wall. But then I moved on to Bill Schaefer, who was the complete opposite, and but the man that probably did the most for me, who taught me how to play the game of baseball, how to win the game of baseball, and also probably got me ready for the next coach I was going to have, the tyrant in Baltimore, because of all the calmness that Joe had on the field and off the field. I just want to say thank you, Joe. Very special man.
Hello everyone, Cal Ripken here. Joe Altobelli was a good man, and a very good baseball man too. One of my favorite traits about Joe was his demeanor. He was calm, confident, and never overwhelmed. Although I did witness a few outbursts on the umpires, but who could blame him for that? In 1983, taking over for Earl Weaver and his feisty, outgoing personality, Joe was almost the opposite. But it turned out that he was the perfect leader for our team. We were good. We all knew it. And Joe really knew it. He didn't feel he had to insert his mark on that team. He simply guided us to the pennant, the playoffs, and the World Series. But I almost had a bone to pick with Joe. After the World Series was over, he called me into his office and said, "Kid, you played every inning of every game this year, and that's never going to happen again under my watch." So I simply smiled and I said, "Well, it did work out pretty well, didn't it? Might not want to change anything." So as it turned out, I did play every inning of every game for the next 5 years. So I'm so glad that Joe finally came to his senses. I'm very thankful to have had that wonderful experience of winning the World Series with Joe in charge. That's the memory I'll hold on to for life.
This is Royal Stillman, and I played with the Red Wings and Joe Altobelli in the 70s for 3 seasons. Joe definitely made me a better player and a better person. One night at Silver Stadium, we were down 1 run in the 9th inning with 1 out, bases were loaded, and I was on second base. Mike Reinbach hit a long fly to right field, and everybody tagged up, and I was headed for third, and I saw Joe with his hands up, and I turned around and dove back for second, but I was too late. The shortstop caught the ball, tagged me out for a game-ending double play. It was horrible. Joe was so mad that he was throwing gear, ranting and raving, and kicking gear. He kicked that trash can so hard that he limped for a month afterwards. Anyway, when I got in there, Joe asked me what the hell I was thinking, and I just told him I blew it, and he just looked at me and respected me enough to just drop it and said, batting practice tomorrow at 4:30, nobody be late, and it was, we survived. Anyway, Joe was the guy that also told me that I was going to the big leagues. Joe was also in Dan Mason's office when I got inducted to the Hall of Fame, and we caught up, and he told me he was in baseball for 59 years. Joe, he had the stories and the smile. We'll never forget you, Joe.
Hi, this is Ron Gidry. Whenever you talk about the game of baseball, the name Joe Altobelli usually arises. He was a very, very good student of the game. He always loved to tell all of the stories. He was a good coach, he was a good manager, and he was a very good friend.
Hey, Rochester Red Wing fans, Bobby Gritch here, player there in 1970 and 71. I know not many of you saw me play, but sorry I couldn't be there with you tonight for Joe Altobelli Day, and also celebrating the 50th anniversary of the 71 Junior World Series championship team. First of all, I want to thank the Maurice Silver family, including Naomi Silver, fantastic ownership family through the years, and for putting this night on for Joe and our team. Just like to say hello to the Joe Altobelli family. Tell them that congratulations, and I share in honoring Joe. He was a fantastic manager, fantastic person. One little quick story. First time I met him, I was 18 years old, flew to Bluefield, West Virginia from California. They took me straight out to the stadium at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and said, go meet Joe Altobelli in his locker, or in his office. I walk in, he takes a hit of a cigarette and goes, so you're Bobby Gritch, huh? And I said, yes, sir. He said, well, you ready to play some hard baseball? And I said, yes, sir. He said, all right, go get your uniform on. So that basically set the tone for who Joe Altobelli was and how I was going to have to play for him, as well as the rest of the team and all the teams that he had under him from that point on. Is play hard baseball. And he was a great mentor for me. He got me through some really tough times, and there's one person that I owe my career to. It's Joe Altobelli for getting me through the minor leagues. Last thing I'd like to say is hello Don Fazio, Jim Hutto, and Billy Kirkpatrick, and all of our friends and our gone players from the 71 team. Some people consider that one of the greatest minor league teams ever, certainly in Rochester Red Wing history. It was such a pleasure to play there for 2 years. You fans are fantastic. You're loyal, you're down to earth, and you're just great baseball fans. I miss not being there. I apologize. Maybe I can take a rain check and come back next year and see all of you. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
I was a Rochester Red Wings season ticket holder from 74 to 82. Those are the first game programs I ever collected. Joe Altobelli squad, they won it all in 74. Mark, he was Rochester's own. In my mind's eye, Jim Fuller just hit a titanic home run over that center field scoreboard. He's shaking Joe's hand, rounding third, but he's not just Rochester's own. Joe was your guy too, wasn't he?
Absolutely. When I think of Rochester, New York, I think of Todd Loss, and I think of the legend of Rochester, New York, and that's Joe Altobelli. Now, I'm no Jim Fuller. However, I will say, Joe Altobelli made me the first baseman that I was, and he made me the man that I am today. I came into the major leagues as a punk that wouldn't listen to anybody. I left the major leagues as a guy, a young man that would listen to people, and that's because of Joe Altobelli. I thank God for you, Joe, every single day.
In his honor, I think, Mark, we should go grab a white hot and maybe a Jenny cream ale.
I'd rather have a Jenny Light.
Okay. Godspeed, Joe.
Hi, this is Josh Wetzel, the broadcaster for the Rochester Red Wings. And over the years, I've had people ask me a few times what my favorite game or moment to broadcast for the Red Wings is. And I really can't name a single thing, but rather a period of time when I broadcast games next to Joe Altobelli. And when I first got the job here, honestly, I was a little bit intimidated with the idea of broadcasting games with Joe, who, along with his many accomplishments in the games, had won the World Series with the Orioles in 1983. But he very quickly made me feel at ease. And we very quickly, I think, became not only good partners on the air with each other, but good friends, to the point that, every Wednesday afternoon, he and I would go eat lunch at Rocky's with some of Joe's other buddies who became my quick friends as well. And it was awesome to sit next to Joe every game and learn from him, not only about the X's and O's of baseball, but also about baseball history, because that's a passion of mine. And of course, here I'm hearing firsthand from someone who had met someone like Babe Ruth when he was a kid in Detroit, who was friends with Yogi Berra, who was in the dugout when his good friend Herb Score got hit by a line drive in Cleveland. He had been involved in all these different great moments in baseball history, and to actually sit next to him and hear about those stories firsthand and become his friend was really something great in my life. And one of the things that always stuck out with me about Joe was some of the great life philosophies that he had, and especially when he would say that you shouldn't wish your life away. In other words, be present, be in the moment each and every day. And that always stuck with me, to try to not wish away my life. But one thing I do wish I could say right now is that he and I could broadcast one more game together, because I sure miss Joe every single day. Again, it's been the highlight of my time in Rochester broadcasting games with Rochester's Mr. Baseball, Joe Altobelli.